Andrew Henderson's book, The Nomad Capitalist. In this video today, I'm going to share with you a few of my thoughts on this book. Hi, my name's Aaron Miller and this is Plan Free. I'll give you a few brief words related to my background so you have a better picture when I share with you my perspective on Andrew Henderson's book, The Nomad Capitalist. My wife and I semi-retired when she was 35 and I was 37. We've now been enjoying 11 years and counting of a location-independent lifestyle. Previous to that, I was in the financial services business as a certified financial planner and specialized in individual equity selection. I'd like to lead off by saying that I think the book is a good read. I have benefited from it, and I can recommend that you read it. The foundational idea of this book, as described by the author, is the EKG method, which is enhance your personal lifestyle, grow more of your money, and then keep more of your money by doing things like living, banking, investing, and doing business overseas. That said, I'd like to add some clarity in that on the front cover it says, how to reclaim your freedom with offshore bank accounts, dual citizenship, foreign companies, and overseas investments. The clarification comes in the form that when you read this book, you'll find virtually little or none of the how-tos of doing any of the things that are described on the cover. But what you will find is excellent anecdotal stories of the author's experiences on how he went through these things to get where he is today. So what this book did for me is it opened my mind to thinking about these subjects, at times for the first time ever, but at different times to be able to see them in a different light. So I should say that if you're out there looking for a how-to guide on things like opening foreign bank accounts or investing offshore or reclaiming your freedom through second citizenships, this book will not give you that, but it will be an excellent introductory guide to opening your mind on these ideas. You know, coming from a financial planning background like I did, we spent considerable amount of time talking with people about allocations, balance, and diversification. But it wasn't until I read Andrew Henderson's The Nomad Capitalist that I began to think about diversification as a physical, geographical technique that could be utilized. What I mean by that is, yes, we used to talk about diversification and balance a lot, but it was almost always diversifying within your home country's boundaries. So in the world of investments, that usually meant diversifying your investments into different vehicles, whether it be stocks, bonds, mutual funds, EFTs, solid metal holdings, etc. But we almost never discussed physically diversifying your assets into different countries outside of your own borders. And when we go back to the old analogy of don't put all your eggs in one basket, most of us literally put all of our eggs in one basket as it relates to our home country. If you're like me, you probably had all of your investments, businesses, taxation, citizenships, all in the basket of your home country. This book, for the first time, helped me to think outside of that box and start to consider whether I was truly diversified and whether I needed to look at physically moving beyond my borders to benefit from an actual diversification. Before, when I was speaking with clients, as far as we would go in the realm of diversification, geographically speaking, would be to recommend some EFTs or some funds that might represent different countries or different stock markets. The problem with that, though, is at the end of the day, they were always denominated in our home country's currency and represented by our home country's stock market. So were we truly diversifying outside of our home country? And I would say no. Is being a nomad capitalist for everyone? My thoughts are that the nomad capitalist ideal is for most people to at least consider. And even though I would say most people could benefit from some of the ideas or adjustments that are suggested in this book, probably not everyone is going to be a nomad capitalist. I will say that as your wealth and your income increases, the potential benefits of the ideas described in this book will also increase for you, especially as it relates to tax savings, domiciling businesses in different countries, etc. When it comes to considering multiple residences or citizenship, I think this has less to do with your wealth or let's say income tax that you're paying and more to do with your level of comfortability of the stability of your home country currently and going forward. And in my opinion, if it would comfort you to know that you have more than one, in quotation marks, home country to go to in times of instability, this would be an area that you'd want to consider in this book, regardless of your current wealth or taxation. The author's moniker, mission statement, or catchphrase is to go where you're treated best. And I think a lot of us are familiar with this idea when it comes to much smaller things like shopping for a vehicle, or where to get a haircut or a new set of nails, or shopping for groceries, a pair of shoes. Very small things in comparison to protecting your wealth, redomiciling your business operations for lower taxation, or diversifying into additional residences or citizenships. So one of the things this book did for me was to help me think more in depth about going where I'm treated best in relation to these larger life considerations. And I might encourage you to read the book so that you can also consider these ideas in a little bit more depth. A recommendation I can offer you that relates to this book and the ideas it talks about, from 11 years experience living internationally, usually for 6 months a year in a different country each year prior to COVID, is that if you're looking to shop for different countries to buy a house or establish a residency or citizenship, or for any means, I'd recommend and encourage you to spend at least 6 months in any given country that you're interested in. We've seen time and time again where people will go to a country one time, or maybe even sight unseen. They'll buy what they think is their dream home in this country, and a year to 2 years later, they're selling that home. So I would just recommend pumping the brakes on the way in, spending considerable amount of time in any country that you're looking to potentially relocate to in any capacity. Overall, I think Andrew Henderson has done a positive thing by sharing his thoughts in the form of this book with us, and I have benefited from it, and I can recommend that you read it as well. Please add your thoughts and comments below if you've read this book, and join in the conversation. My name's Aaron, and this is Plan Free. If you like the video and this book, press the like button, add yourself to the conversation, and we'll see you again soon in the next one. Bye for now.